Hi everyone, welcome to another Transformers toy review. Today I'm taking a look at one of the Generation Selects figures. Now this one, as I bring it over, is the Deluxe Centurion drone. Now this is the one which has kind of got a load of accessories with it as well. So I'll show you this one. I think I've already reviewed kind of the original toy that this is based on. So I won't go through like all the transformation and everything, but so you got the figure in there as well, and then you get the kind of accessory pack here to the side. So quite a cool looking figure. Just pop them off to the side while we take a look at this. So yeah, so again in a little box here, they've got it all kind of just jumbled in together. Which kind of, I'm grateful that it's not in loads of different bits and pieces, but it is just kind of chucked in a bag. It's a bit of a weird one. The bag looks as if it's kind of recyclable in terms of, if you go to where you can recycle your regular plastic bags, you should be able to get them done in the same place. So you get loads of bits and pieces with it. So you get a couple of Energon Cubes here with the kind of different levels, so ones that look as if they're kind of, that's better. My actual phone just turned off then for some reason, but yeah, it's you get a couple of different ones. This one looks as if it's all clear and you just kind of pop it down here, whereas this one here looks as if it's kind of half full. So I would think you would have it kind of like that, with your back to it, I think, because if you have it down like that, it just kind of looks like it's, yeah. So either way, depending if you're going to have it more full or not. This Energon Mace, which I like and I don't, just because it's solid. So there's no, it's a softish, but it's kind of, it feels a bit brittle, this piece here. So I can see this getting broken. So obviously Megatron looks as if he can hold it in his hands. He's got a Decepticon symbol on there. This bit rotates around, which this bit looks fine. No issues with that. I'm just more worried about this bit here, that it could potentially break. You do get a cool little roller, which you can put with your Optimus Prime trailer. So it's quite nice. He's completely painted blue, and even the wheels, oh no, they're not painted, they're kind of like a translucent, or are they painted? Yeah, I think they are painted black there. This here, which I think is part of the Megatron gun, yeah, so that lines up in there, so someone can hold that. So that's a cool accessory, maybe like Starscream or someone holding that. The antenna, I'm not sure what this is off. Someone will have to pop me a note about that. This kind of backpack for Optimus Prime, or Sideswipe. This proper G1 blaster for Optimus Prime. Right, that looks huge. So I'll have to put that on the figure and see what that looks like. Is this supposed to be Shockwave as a blaster? I think so, but it's not got any paint. So if it was me, I think it probably would have been best to cast that in a purple plastic. Another weapon here. I don't know what that's off. A reflector. So that's a quite cool little thing. But again, no paint. This tiny, can't focus, Optimus Prime. Oh, he's running the wrong way. He's absolutely minute. So I'm not really sure what that's supposed to go with. This Energon axe, which looks good. Again, it's made out of hard plastic, and normally with these sort of accessories they do them out of a softer plastic, and this does feel a little bit brittle, so just be careful with that. There's another gun here. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the gun that sort of like Megatron finds kind of hidden behind and tries to blast Optimus Prime with. That's what I think that could be. This kind of gun here, again, I'm not too sure. Maybe that's something to do with Soundwave potentially. And then you do get a little mini Soundwave here as well. And then you get the kind of Ravage kind of prison cell thing that opens up either side. So it doesn't swing open, it just kind of plugs in. And it looks as if you have something plugged in on the top of that. So I'm not quite sure what that would be that you would have on the top of that. That's quite a cool little accessory. So, you know, you can pop the Ravage in there. A bit worried about these little tabs that they might break. Because you kind of have to line everything up to kind of get it into place. Come on. There you go. But again, that looks like it's painted. Okay, almost like one of those kind of translucent sort of paints that you get. But it looks nice. It's got a little lock on it. But other than that, there isn't a great deal to it. It's got pegs here, so you can, I guess you can peg it on to something. So yeah, it's quite cool. Have a look at the instructions, just see if it shows you any additional bits on it. Yeah, so that goes through the transformation. Yeah, and again on here, it doesn't show you really anything additional to sort of go with it really. Shows you how you can kind of armor up Reflector and do that, you know, so that's quite cool. But it doesn't really say much about the different weapons. Obviously, it shows you how this kind of opens up, and that's about it. So what we'll do next is we'll take a look at the figure, and then I'll bring in the figures just to show off all the different accessories. So I thought I'd switch things up and show off the accessories first. The first one being Roller. So obviously he fits on Optimus Prime's truck here. He kind of rolls off okay. But yeah, he fits in there fine. He doesn't slot in or anything like the original Roller does. He's got a little peg there so you can pop a gun on there if you want to. Fitting in with that, you get Optimus Prime. So at the moment he's sporting the jetpack here, which is Sideswipe's one, but you can take that off and you can pop it on the back of Sideswipe. So it does fit on any of them. I think with these kind of accessories, I don't know if the idea is that they're plain so you can paint them up and customize them. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to do that with that one. So yeah, that's Sideswipe there with his backpack. So you've got that there. So that's in the background. And then Optimus Prime has got this Energon axe. And again, what he does with his is it just slots in here. And you can see on mine, where it's quite a tight fit, it actually has taken off some of the blue paint inside. So yeah, just be wary of that, and sort of round the outside it can take it off. So depending on which way round you want to have it, peg it on that way. Just be wary how you're displaying it, because on the other side it's open like that. So yeah, you kind of want to have him like that, ready to battle Megatron. So that's quite cool. So bring these two out of the way, just so we can bring in Megatron with his bit. So we've taken a look at those. So if we take, obviously we've got Optimus Prime with his axe, and then Megatron has got a similar thing with his Energon Mace, and that's a similar thing in terms of it pegs into his hand like that. Again, it's quite a tight fit, and you want to think about how you want to display it, just because of the way it is with the open hand. But I think, you know, that looks pretty good. You know, you should be able to display them pretty well with that. And staying with Optimus Prime, you get this G1 blaster, and it's massive. Like, that's the size of the gun that comes with him, the smaller one. So it's nearly twice the size. You can hold it just fine. In my look at that on this side here. Is that broken it? Broken it where I've tried to put it in on the other one. I'll try that again. Looked like part of his thumb had broken then. I hope not. He does hold that gun fine, but look at the size of it. I mean, it's massive. It's longer than his arm. But if you do want to armor up old Optimus, you can do. And poor old Megatron's just about to get shot in the crotch. There you go. So you've got those two. Both of them work fairly well. I think the engine axe is a little bit tight around there, but I probably will display them both with those accessories. So, you know, I guess that's one of the things. Trailbreaker here. Now, I had to look a few of these up because I wasn't sure where the different accessories, where they went for. So I looked at a few of them, and it does say when you go to the Hasbro Pulse site, because I couldn't remember a few of them. So the radar dish inspired by the one used by Trailbreaker, so that obviously goes with him. So that just goes on there. I think that's probably on one of the first episodes, probably one of the More Than Meets the Eye one, where he's trying to listen to what they're saying. So there's that one. There's a few different ones as well. So if I bring in Starscream, obviously this isn't the different add-on kit, but he's got a Megatron Blaster. Here we are. This is probably better. So I've got Earthrise 1 holding it. So that probably works a bit better as an accessory. That is probably one of the best accessories, actually. I think that looks really good. And he holds it nice as well. Looks good in his hand. There is also a Shockwave Blaster as well, which isn't painted. So we'll need to get that painted up as well. You know, you can hold that in his hand just fine if you want to go for the double. And you also get the Reflector one here as well. So Reflector, you can kind of hold that in his hands and sort of make a shot like that. The Siege ones works a bit better because you can, there's a slot on the arm there where you can kind of pull it up to his face. Might be on here. So you kind of get it up like that, depending on if you're sort of obviously turning his face like that. You can kind of get him looking through the camera like that a little bit better. So that's one way of doing it. What are the other bits that we've got in here? So we've got Ravage. So he does fit in there okay. You sort of have to sort of pull it apart. There's a couple of these little connections here, so you just have to be careful with those. Obviously closing it back up that you don't break anything. So that's my only real worry with this one. That, and I don't think, if you've got this on display, it's not ultra clear that you can really see them in it, because the bars are quite thick, and may have been better to have the bars a little bit thinner so you could see them through there. Yeah, but it works, and you know, it works fine. What other bits? Obviously we've got the Energon Cubes. They're kind of open on one side. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're supposed to be displayed around that way, like that, or like that. Because to me, I would want to put them on this open end like that, but I think they're supposed to be around that way, which is fine. They don't, you know, they're pretty straightforward. You get your little sound wave tape here in this mode here. It looks like you can peg onto various things on here. You know, you could have them sitting alongside here. So I don't know if anyone could pick him up, or if he can go on anything else. Does he fit on any of the little slots? He does fit on those slots, so on these little notches. So you, obviously I'm just doing that for effect there, but you know, you can have them slotted onto something on for display, which is quite cool. And then what are the other bits? There's this tiny little Optimus Prime, which is just for display with Unicron. You see that? So some nice detail, but very teeny tiny, and I won't be able to do much with that until I've got said Unicron. For a size comparison, there is Soundwave next to Soundwave. This is the Netflix version. So you've got that. Then there's a couple other bits. So there's a couple of other guns and things that are listed in here. So with these ones, it says, if I bring it up, it says iconic G1 blaster. So we've got that. It says drill blaster, glass gas blaster, and jetpack accessories. So it lists them being with Bumblebee and Ironhide. So I presume, in order, the drill blaster to go with Ironhide, because I think he uses this when he's trying to kind of drill Optimus out of the wreckage. I'm sure he uses that. And then the glass gas blaster is with Bumblebee. So I'm not sure which one that one is. Is it that one that he uses at the start, where he's kind of fixing bits in that very first episode? I think it's that one. Which then leaves the accessory with Cliff Jumper, which is the glass gas blaster, which I think is that one. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but that is all the accessories that come with it. So that's covered everything off. So now finally we can take a look at the figure here. And here is alongside his chummity chum here. So yeah, different paint job obviously. Trying to see if there's any other differences in the sculpt. But I don't think there is. No. What we'll do is just take a look at the articulation. So, this chap, his head rotates around. Arm moves around like this. Obviously, you can unpeg them as well. Arms rotate around, up. Can bend up to there, so it doesn't actually give you loads up, so up to there, and then the claws kind of open and close like that. Open and close. This thing can be pegged anyway. You can peg it on there, peg it on that side if you want, or you can peg it on, because he can't hold it in his hand, can he? You can peg it on his arm, like so. Trying to think of ways that you can make this guy different, maybe even on his leg, like that if you want to. The waist rotates around, can also come apart if you want to have someone kind of pull them apart if you like. The legs go all the way up, so you get a real high kick on this guy, and then out to the back like that, and then bend in the knee, goes back to there. And then you get rotation here as well. That goes pretty much all the way around on the figure, and a tilt. It goes crazy all the way out, really. Then you've got this bit that flicks out, so you can then peg him in onto other stuff, like those other weaponizers, or you can peg him into different things like this. You could have him standing on different things and doing a bit of a balancing act on Ravage's cage, things like that. So you can do that. There's lots of different ports. We can add different weapons onto him all around the figure, and obviously you can pull different bits off of him and add him to other figures. We'll take a look at that configuration with Reflector as part of the review as well. In terms of paint, it's got some quite nice paint actually. He's got silver paint for the face and red across the eyes. Like again, it's very, you know, Centurion drone looking. They've done a great job with this guy. He looks very cool. I'm trying to think where he originally appeared, which comic it may have been, whether it was IDW that originally showed this guy. Some nice silver in here. Black for the treads, which is done, but it's not done all the way around. It kind of goes black there, and then grey around here, red in here, lots of red paint in around the figure, and bits of silver, nice black and darker grey in here as well. The tracks are painted all around here as well. Nice orange paint. It's a bit of that kind of swirly kind of paint. It's hard to describe really. Then red, more red in here, and then a different shade of grey in here. So that's nice touches to do in there, because you know, they could have quite easily just gone all grey with this, with certain parts of it, but just that different shade of grey there does kind of break it up a little bit. I'm quite a big fan of that, and it is added in various different places, which just does give the figure a bit more of a polished look. And obviously you can, with the joints on this guy, you can pose him in lots of different positions, and he'll, you know, he's fairly solid, stands up well, pretty good all round, I think. And then you've got like a thing on the back here to use as a flight stand as well. Right, we've already taken a look at the transformation for this figure, so what I'm going to do is skip and take a look at him in vehicle mode, and then we'll take a look at how you can weaponize some other figures. Well, this is our Centurion drone in his vehicle mode. It's a fairly easy transformation. The best thing to do, really, I found, is just to really kind of pull everything apart and do it that way, rather than try and transform it in a kind of conventional way. I did do a little stop motion video just to show the transformation. So what I'll do is I'll just pop that in here, and then you guys can see it. So it'll just a little 10-second clip. So I'll pop that in here. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and there's a bit of a size comparison. Well, not size comparison because they're the same mold, but just a bit of a comparison here. Here's the kind of original version of that mold here, obviously in purple. There is a few sort of deco differences in terms of where the paint is actually applied, as you can see through. This one's kind of got like a bit more weathering on the side here as well, and the sort of Decepticon logo on here, which you don't actually get on this guy, I don't think, through looking through the figure, but he is supposed to be a Decepticon, definitely. So, but I can't actually see a Decepticon symbol on him. But there you go. And obviously you can do all the normal things which I showed in that little video, where you can add like little blast effects and things on there. I don't know if I've got any others to hand, but you can swap them out however you want to, like that. It's pretty cool. And you've got various different plugs where you can add different bits, and you can have them kind of being shot at as well, like that, as well as kind of shooting some good guys as well. And I don't know if I've got anyone here as a bit of a size comparison. I don't think I've got anyone to hand. The only things I've got to hand are these Beast Wars Animorphs to hand, which aren't really of interest. But yeah, and then from there, the only other thing left to do is to show you kind of how you can use this guy, you know, as a weaponizer, which is what they are, where you can basically armor up these other figures. So in the instructions, it shows you kind of beefing up. I think it's Reflector, I think. So what we'll do is there's two different configurations. I'll show you both of those, and then we'll just wrap it up. All right, well, here we go. This is kind of the first configuration which they show, which involves you taking off these bottom pieces and plugging them at the bottom. Part of the gun here is pegged on as part of a shield. You can also still plug in his other weapons and things. So this is Scrap Face, which is kind of a repaint of Reflector anyway, but he's got his gun plugged in here and his shield on the other side. So he's got that. He's got the tank turret that's been reconfigured. So that's added on this bit with the blast effect on here. On the back then, you then get this bit which is added on, which you then peg on the legs together, which was kind of formerly the tank turret. And then you add on these bits in here, and you can swap them around. I think actually the guns look really good. The one thing I'm not a real big fan of is the kind of feet add-on bits, which is a theme that I've had all along with the weaponizers. I think they just look a little bit clunky, and also with these ones, they didn't really kind of sit flat very well. And for them to kind of work, you almost have to have them out at an angle. So it just looks a little bit unnatural, in my opinion. I think you are better off kind of taking those off. There is another configuration which it does show, which I'll take you through and show you that as well. Obviously, you can swap these around however you like. You can mix and match. You can have some of this guy's parts in with it if you want to. You can have a mix and match figure, entirely up to you. You decide what you want to do. Right, so what I'll do next is take a look at the next configuration, and we'll then wrap it all up. So this is the kind of final configuration which it shows you, which actually I do really like these bits kind of coming out here. I think they look really good. It is a bit of a challenge sometimes, just making sure everything's kind of pegged in properly. But you can kind of maneuver these around, kind of up and down. This bit moves back as well. This bit moves, these bits move around, and the claws open and close as well. So it's pretty good. And then you just peg the shield onto here and the gun as a blaster. And then just to show you that you can still plug on the other bits. So you've got a shield on here and his gun in his other hand like that. And he does stand up relatively well, really, considering he's got all that kind of extra weight on him, and it does make him, you know, a good deal taller than you would do normally. So, you know, here's another figure here, and you can see, you know, it's almost like double going up there. It sort of like doubles him in height almost. So it's quite a good little add-on, I think. Yeah, so that's all the extra bits that you can do with him. Next up, we'll just take a look back at his robot mode and just do a kind of final kind of summary, as it were. And finally, guys, just to summarize and bring the video to a close, thanks to all those that have survived this long. Just thought I'd show you him kind of mangled up with his kind of mold twin, to show you how you can have a bit of fun kind of playing around with the two figures, adding a few bits on. Overall, I say, yeah, it's a figure definitely worth picking up. If you are getting it for the accessories, just bear in mind that a lot of them, I haven't got them all here, but a lot of them are not painted. So it's whether or not you're going to be happy with that. I think it's very much a pack where, you know, it's kind of more leaning towards people that are into customizations, really, in terms of they've got these kind of blank pieces and they can kind of customize them up to sort of match the figures that they want, because a lot of them are not painted. So, you know, you get this shockwave gun and the radar and things like that, even the little reflector and things like that. They're all quite nicely sculpted pieces, but they just need a bit of paint. As for the figure itself, it's a good kind of base figure. This kind of Centurion drone is quite a cool figure to do, and I think it's probably one that we didn't think we were going to get, so I think that's pretty good. The price point is good, no issues with kind of build or anything else like that. It's ultra posable. There's lots of fun playable things that you can do with it in terms of pulling it apart literally and, you know, transforming it and making your own alt modes, adding different weapons to the other figures. So it's got lots of functions, really. So at the price, if you can get hold of it, I would recommend it. But if you are picking up for the accessories, just bear in mind the fact that some of them are a bit hit and miss in terms of, you know, paint and things like that. But that's it from me, guys. Hope this has been useful for you guys. Sorry it's rattled on a little bit. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected. Bye bye for now.